Hi there, welcome back to this space. Today I thought we'd look at probably one of the most challenging actions to move forward with protecting our environment, and that is tackling the meat in our life. An Oxford University study has found that stitching meat and dairy has huge benefits on the environment. And Professor Marco Springman, one of the authors of the study, says in an interview that the food sector is responsible for a quarter of greenhouse gas emissions. And by changing into a plant-based diet, that would reduce our greenhouse gas emissions by 3/4. Of course, research into whether everybody should go vegan straight away or should everyone be vegan right now is still ongoing. But what we do know is that the demand for meat is growing at an exponential rate and is highly unsustainable at the moment. So what I do recommend is reducing your meat intake, and of course if you do want to eat meat and buy meat, you should ensure that it's locally sourced. That way your carbon footprint is dramatically lower and your impact is less. But anyway, enough of the sad news today. I have invited a dear friend of mine on the channel. Her name's Romina, also known as Romy London. Thank you so much for being on this channel. Of course. I invited Romina to be on this channel because I wanted her to motivate us, including myself, on how we can live hashtag less meat, more veg lifestyle. So if you don't mind, I can answer some questions about your plant-based lifestyle.
Yeah, sure.
So first, let's start off with a very easy question that not everybody might know. What is a vegan?
Well, generally you would kind of explain it in the way to say that it is a person that does not consume any animal products. But I know that some people see it in a different way. Some people just kind of see it in just nutrition, that you don't eat any animal products, and other people even make it a little bit further and see it as like a whole lifestyle where you also don't consume animal products in other ways, like clothing, for example.
So you say that you don't consume anything that comes from animal, like eggs as well, and
eggs,
honey,
dairy,
like
honey.
So what
Exactly.
do you eat?
Just salad. It's probably what people always think.
Yeah,
There's actually like lots of variety when it comes to the vegan diet. It's not just salad. When I first went vegan, I think before I went vegan, I was just eating the same things all over, like on rotation. And when I went vegan, it just opened my eyes to so many different cuisines as well, and different foods, like different kinds of veggies or different kinds of starches I've just never tried before. So for me, it's always the opposite thing. For me, it just feels like it opened myself up so much to so many more foods than I ever ate before. So yeah, with the question what I eat a lot of pasta, potatoes, soy milk, soy yogurt, coconut yogurt. It's really good. Vegan ice cream, vegan sausages. I have a lot of tofu. Everything really. Lots of veggies and lots of fruit as well. So it's a big variety.
But yeah, things that probably us meat eaters and really thought of.
Well, like often things that you already eat.
Yeah.
But you just add something else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
True. Yeah. And how did you feel when you first made the choice to have plant-based?
It was quite a spontaneous choice. So I went vegan overnight.
Really?
From one day to the other. It was at first a little bit mind-boggling because I wasn't too confident going to the shops yet, because I didn't really know everything about it, and I just started learning in the first 3-4 months, just learning, okay, what are like all the different things, what do I need to look out for. I think in the beginning I just stuck to eating veggies a lot, just because I knew, okay, I'm safe with eating this, so I don't have to look at too many labels. But before I went vegan, I didn't have any energy. I was in this time of my life where I just felt really depressed, and I didn't have any energy to do anything or any motivation. And when I went vegan, that instantly changed within like just 2 weeks alone. I was just so much more energetic, and I think I found it so interesting to finally find out what is actually in the stuff that I'm eating, and that kind of just kept me going, just trying out like new recipes as well and new ways of cooking certain things, and yeah, just made it really interesting.
So how did you feel when you first started doing it? Now, how do you feel? Like,
I feel much more
in
energetic.
comparison to like when you first became vegan.
I feel much more energetic now. Like I sometimes even wonder where the energy comes from. So energetic is one of the things, and then I kind of feel that it gave me so much more compassion as well, and that I care so much more about what I do about my body or about my lifestyle and how it affects other beings, rather than whatever I did before, where I just looked at myself.
Yeah,
so that really changed.
Awesome. I think one of the biggest questions about somebody considering having a plant-based diet is food hard to find, like in a restaurant or in the supermarkets?
Well, I think I'm being really spoiled here in London because it's really easy. In London, there's so many vegan restaurants, so much food in supermarkets as well. When I go travel, it's not as easy just because, you know, they have different supermarkets, they have different products in supermarkets. Language barriers sometimes as well. Though, I mean, nowadays you have so many like translator apps that's like become really simple over the last couple of years. But yeah, with like finding vegan restaurants, so that's definitely a little bit more tricky when you go and travel. But there are some good resources to use. I mean, I always go very prepared when I go somewhere else. I have a look in advance what is there. I even call up like hotels or like Airbnbs. I make them aware that I'm vegan because, you know, otherwise even Airbnbs, they buy like milk and eggs for you to have. It happened before. And yeah, just make sure that I have like at least some basics. They're like soy milk, soy yogurt, and then I can just go from there. And for restaurants, there's actually a really good website called Happy Cow. And that is like a database of, well, everybody can add restaurants or to it. Or like some options.
Well?
It's an app. Oh, yeah, there's an app as well. And you can just basically search for vegan-friendly options near where you are. It shows you vegan restaurants, it shows you vegetarian restaurants, and it shows you restaurants that do vegan or vegetarian options. So that's been like super helpful.
Community things that like everybody can keep adding.
Exactly, people can keep adding, everybody can upload pictures of the dishes so that the next people that look at the restaurant know exactly what they're getting. And yeah, that's been like super helpful. That's probably one of the biggest things to use when you are abroad.
That's awesome. So it's called Happy Cow.
Happy Cow, yeah.
Wow. And another one that's kind of like a debate on whether, you know, like go vegan or not. It's like a lot of people think that it's super expensive to go vegan or to go on a vegetarian diet. Is that true? And if it is, you know, how do you go around?
It depends on what you eat.
Right.
So if you just ate like lots of meat replacements all the time, like lots of processed food, vegan processed food can be more expensive. But the reason why it's more expensive is because it's not a mass production. So it's usually smaller brands and like a small production. And when they have, you know, ingredients in smaller amounts, that can make it more expensive. And also the production process is more complicated. And when you buy meat, for example, well, there is not a massively complicated process to that. Whilst when you're trying to make a meat replacement, there are so many steps involved to make it taste good and to get the right texture. So that is one thing that makes it more expensive. And then of course, on the other hand, the mass production, like the bigger the production is, the cheaper the individual item will get. But the thing is also, the more people are going to buy into plant-based products, the cheaper it's going to get over time because they can up their production basically, and that'll make it much cheaper. But at the end of the day, when you eat like when you buy like organic meat from the butcher, not from like a supermarket, it's really expensive as well.
It's true, but you're paying for quality. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, it's really expensive as well. If you want to eat healthy and not buy, you know, the cheap £2 stuff from the supermarket, then it's expensive as well. And at the end, it just kind of ends up being the same.
Yeah.
In general, I don't find veganism expensive because there are so many things like rice, potatoes, oats, veggies, really cheap.
Things that you would normally buy anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Just
buy more of it.
Yeah, exactly. And like pulses and things like that.
Yeah, they're really cheap, these kind of things. Yeah. So it really depends on what you eat.
You do such great things. Like, I think a lot of people look over beans and lentils and things like that. Yeah. They can make really lovely recipes.
Exactly, and they're very versatile.
You just forget about
so much with
it.
Exactly. I think when people first try to go vegan, they usually go the route where they use lots of replacement products.
Right.
And I think that's why they then in the beginning
that would be the mistake as well, because you're not branching out to other flavours.
Yeah, I mean it makes it easier because you can have the comfort foods that you already have, but it makes it more expensive as well because you buy all of this processed stuff. So.
And as well, like processed stuff, even when you have a processed meal with meat, it's not healthy. So I'm supposed that processed stuff isn't as healthy.
No, it's not. It's just best to eat. Like I try to eat mainly fresh, but I do eat processed food as well every now and then. Just not every day, and just not every day.
Awesome. Is it hard to prepare food?
No, it's actually quite simple. I mean, there are a lot of like basics that every vegan kitchen kind of, I mean, I don't want to say should have because it's down to everybody what they like to eat. But there are a couple of things that can really make like a difference in taste. Like I've never really used any spices before I went vegan, just salt and pepper pretty much. But now I have like a whole shelf full of just spices and herbs, and I kind of know how to combine them as well, how to use them. So it's a lot of experimenting just to get a lot of flavor into the dishes. Sometimes even if it's just grilled veggies or something, it tastes so good with some Italian herbs on top. It's super simple, but nobody does that when they have like meat on the side, for example. And then I don't find it's difficult. It's a learning process because you have to find out what you actually like and what other things you like.
Exactly.
So it's kind of like starting your whole eating process all over again.
A lot of people think that cooking with tofu can be quite difficult. What do you think?
I do understand where they come from because there are so many different ways of how you can prepare it, and depending on how you prepare it, the whole texture and the whole flavor will be different. But this is one of the things that I like about tofu, because I could eat tofu every day and not get bored of it because I can just prepare it in different ways and it's just different every time. So I would just recommend just have a look at some good recipes online and experiment as well. Feel free to just, you know, go on a rogue and just try out like some things, pop it in the oven, like fry it, just, well, maybe steam it, but I think that'll be a bit tasteless. But there's so many different ways of how you can make it. You could even kind of, if you just want to use tofu in order to up your protein intake, you could just mix it into things. You could put tofu into a smoothie, or you could make chocolate mousse with tofu. So there's so many different options. So
I didn't know that. Really food.
Just need to take all of that salt.
Oh yeah. I'm trying to make.
Or you need to add a lot of chocolate
with salt. Salty tofu with chocolate.
Actually, salty chocolate.
Yeah, something like salty caramel and stuff like that. What advice can you give to people who would like to reduce their meat intake or start? You know,
get out of your comfort zone. That was simply the main thing that I could recommend, because when I went vegan, I really realized how much I love being creative in the kitchen and how creative it can actually be. But I only realized that because I pushed myself out of my comfort zone. And it made me actually find so many more foods that I've never tried before. Just because I did that step and just went like, okay, yeah, I don't know how to prepare this, I'm just gonna find out. Right. And nowadays there's so many resources. I mean, we have the internet, so it's not like we're in the 1970s when that didn't exist. I sometimes, what I like doing is picking one ingredient, whether it's something I found somewhere in the back of my cupboards or just something new I've seen in the supermarket, pick that one ingredient, take it home and then figure out how to cook with it. Just Google recipes for this ingredient and just, you know, try something new. Try something new that you've never tried before and then figure out how to best use that ingredient. And then you basically add like another dish to your repertoire. If you don't like it, you don't have to do it again. If you really like it, you found like another thing that you can make more of it. So that's like one of the things that can really make it much more exciting for you as well.
Yeah, like I think one of the first plates or dishes that you made us was the peanut noodles, which are amazing. And I was like, what? Peanut noodles? Are you serious? Like, really? And it was delicious.
Everybody was basically just asking, what are you eating then? It smells really good.
It smells good, tastes good. It's like, I want more, and it's just, it's addictive. Okay, and do you miss meat?
Not really, no. In the beginning, of course, you kind of miss that kind of flavor or texture, but as I said earlier, lots of people just kind of use replacements for that. And in the beginning, I used a lot of meat replacements, which just made it much easier for me, just so I could still have the same flavors. But now I've actually gotten to the point where I really don't want to eat it. So it's not like I go like, oh, I can't eat that. I don't want to eat that, and that's the difference. Right. And I actually feel like I would feel physically sick if I were forced like to eat animal products. So I guess over the time,
empowerment to say, I don't need it.
Exactly. Level 1000 for you. But yeah, we can just go over to my kitchen. I can just let you taste a couple of vegan things if you want.
Yes, so as part of this collaboration, we're going to head over to Rummy London channel. The link is in the description below. And Mort and myself are going to be blindfolded and tasting vegan against non-vegan options and see if we can taste the difference. So come on over.
Have a look.